Peace, gratitude, and highest heart love. Welcome to the live YouTube book reading of The Healing Power of Water by Dr. Masaru Emoto. I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel Neveu. Welcome. So, we are picking up on part two of this book. It's called The Health and Healing Perspectives. This is part two of The Healing Power of Water. Thank you all for being here and reading with us. Introduction to part two. The scientific section of this book described the remarkable properties of water as discovered by scientists in recent years. This portion takes these discoveries and builds on them, showing how we can use water in many ways to maintain our health and fight disease. It will be seen that water does this in two interconnected ways: through its well known physical properties and through its more hidden spiritual qualities. The human body is composed of around 85% water, which performs many life sustaining tasks. For example, it supports complex biochemical reactions, provides structural support for cells, and is the major component in blood and all other body fluids. Also, very important, it eliminates dangerous waste products from every part of the organism. These processes all rely on water's physical properties. From my own and other scientists' work with water and with water crystals, I'm convinced that there's a profound interaction between our thoughts and perhaps those of people around us and the water in our bodies. Positive thoughts affect the molecular structure of the bodily water and thus the health and well being of the entire organism. This theme is central to all the papers in this section. They advance original and important insights into the value of water for healing. And all have been written by experienced health practitioners who have been pioneers of new ideas and information. An important paper here is on dowsing, the use of divination to find water. This ancient technique, still in constant use around the world, demonstrates yet more of the astonishing powers of water, in particular, the ability to make itself felt from a distance and from under many layers of rock. I hope that you'll make use of the ideas and suggestions in these papers for your own well being and for that of your friends, family, and communities. That was the completion of page 107. All right, so we're moving on now to chapter 6. Thank you all for reading with us. Peace, highest heart, love, everyone. Much love and honor. Chapter 6. We're at the top of page 109. The healing power of water. Thank you all. Chapter 6. Water as a Source of Health by Petra Bracht, MD. Water is essential to our well-being, but its powerful beneficial effect on our health can all too often go unacknowledged because all metabolic processes need fluids. It's of huge importance that the primal primeval sea in which the cells swim is always in sufficient supply. To get a better understanding of the crucial role water plays in our health, it's important to consider the physiological processes behind illness and well being. What makes people ill? Thank you all for being here. Most people think that illness comes from outside and out of the blue, almost as if any enemy is there lying in wait for the right opportunity to launch an attack. In the Middle Ages, evil ghosts and demons were blamed. Today, these have been replaced by fungi, viruses, and bacteria. Contrary to orthodox medical belief, however, each illness has its origin in our psyche. Hence, its nature isn't material. What manifests at the physical level, that is, the symptoms, is the body's effort to fight illness. And it's at this level that we can positively influence the dis-ease process, as the physical self has infinite potential to secure the support of its 80 billion cells. All simple illness can be seen as the body's attempt to dispose of rubbish, for example, through a cold or skin impurities, or to kill undesired substances through increasing the body temperature. When we get a fever, right? This is a sign that we're fighting off something viral or bacterial within the body. It's only if the body has been abused for many years, or if its extremely toxic substance have made their way into that this maintenance mechanism breaks down. Then we start having problems with our health and illness breaks out, and in time it might become chronic. Although germs are present all of the time in the body, they very rarely trigger noticeable symptoms if there's a healthy immune system. This process is similar to cancer in that in nearly every human body, cancer cells arise repeatedly on a daily basis. Yet some people get cancer while others don't. Why is this? Here, too, the immune system plays a decisive role. So the question is, how can we strengthen our immune system? That's right. This is so key, right? Because our if we were to look at like our T cells are in our immune system to fight off disease, right? And so certain diseases drop those T cells. So it's important to boost those because that's going to help us fight any type of bacteria or diseases within our body. First of all, if our metabolism is functioning properly, it will guarantee optimal support for all our cells. An optimal metabolism also means optimal elimination of waste, material, and harmful substances. But how can we exert a positive influence on our metabolism? What can we do to ensure it helps maintain us in the best of health? Megalopolis, the city of our body. Can you imagine a crowd of 80 billion people? A megalopolis, a concentration of several big cities into one mega city. Probably not. There are some 6 billion people alive on our planet today, but nearly 80 billion cells in the body are in communication with each other every single second. Peace, everyone. It's our love. Thank you all for reading with us. We're at the middle of page 110, The Healing Power of Water. A protective wall. The skin encloses our city, where people, cells of all kinds live together. Food and other materials are mainly brought in from outside, although some food is produced within the protective wall of the body's own chemical factory. Transport within the city is provided by water. The main part of the incoming material is delivered by a river that runs through the city. Then this cargo is unloaded and distributed. The waste material is loaded onto ships farther down the river, which leave the city with the current. A very clever distribution system within the city ensures that everything arrives where it's needed. An equally well thought out disposal system carries everything that's no longer needed outside so that there's no accumulation of toxic waste. So, how, in such an organized city, can people still die of starvation? Buildings collapse, or stinky wastelands, germ beds develop and threaten a whole quarter. The answer is very simple. If you supply this city with inferior building materials or block its main transport routes, you basically turn off its water supply. However, as long as the city is provided with everything that it needs and enough water is available, everything will work smoothly. Each person is such a perfectly functioning city. We all have the best infrastructure that anyone could ever design. None of the most modern computers can match it, but far too few people are aware that it's only through the continued supply of good quality water that all these processes run smoothly. Thank you so much. Thank you, bro. Peace, Marquise. Yes, thank you. Much love. Peace. Thank you for reading with us. Inner movement. Everything, even the smallest process inside us, is based on movement. That's why we function best when in motion. This is true for our immune system, the inner organs, the cardiovascular system, the musculoskeletal system, the nerves, the lymphatic system, the brain, and the emotions. We can influence a whole range of metabolic processes through movement. Let's have a closer look at what happens during these metabolic processes. Fly, eagles, fly! The raw materials and tools that the body needs to function properly are carbohydrates, right? We know this. One of the building blocks of life. Fat, protein, vitamins, and enzymes, trace elements, minerals, and fiber. These have to be taken in and transported to the part of the body where a specific process happens. At this building site, new cells are constructed, as are hormones, enzymes, protein, certain vitamins, and much more. All these are produced in the body's own laboratories. Old cells, meanwhile, die off and are recycled. Waste material is produced, which is discharged with the help of special detoxification organs, kidneys, intestines, skin, and lungs. Now you start to get an idea of how much is going on in your body every second of your life. The means of transport that makes all this possible is water. Our body has a very complex network of pipes, blood vessels, so that every cell can be supplied with necessary materials. Obviously, the efficiency of the system depends on the condition of the network. Many factors have an impact on the smooth running of the organization, but there's one that's fundamental: movement. This is the primary secret of life. Welcome. Thank you so much. Yes, that's right. It heals itself. That's why I've been able to help so many people because we can trigger these things. We can move the lymphatic system in the body by releasing that lymph drain and breathe into it. That's what the pressure points do, so on and so forth. This movement is very key to keeping our body cleansed. This is how water cleanses itself against stones and rocks and rivers, right, through the motion. So key. We're putting it all together. That's why I decided to read this book, because I know this is just really going to make some major connections for people, as it did, as well it did with me. Movement is life. Stagnation is death. The driving force behind all movement is our muscular system. The muscles ensure that blood, lymph, and all the other bodily fluids are transported throughout the body and support the work of the heart. Moving the body is therefore beneficial for the heart. Movement stimulates circulation, and as a result of our pipes are flushed out, all the cells are supplied with oxygen, all the nutrients reach their place of work, the detoxification organs run at top speed, and all the necessary hormones and enzymes are produced. When everything is moving along so well, something phenomenal happens. Our body starts to notice that the pipes could actually be bigger and that more pipes would ensure an even better supply. Or perhaps that certain areas have not been supplied at all. The body gives immediate instructions to begin the necessary building work. The existing vessels get bigger, new ones are added, and the network is extended. The bones get stronger, and the cartilage and vertebrae get thicker so that they're able to take the additional strain. The organs are refurbished so that they can work more efficiently. The improved supply also explains why the bones of a person who does physical exercise heal more quickly than those of someone who doesn't. We're talking about the metabolism, right? That endocrine system. Just to give you an idea of the scale of the process, muscles that move have a circulation rate at 200 times higher than those that remain at rest. This means that those cells will be 200 times better supplied with building materials and oxygen, and waste will be discharged 200 times faster. That metabolic rate. It's hard to imagine, but if all the body's blood vessels were laid end to end, they would be about 60,000 miles in length and would circle the earth more than twice. These vessels are our body's highways. We could look around the building site of our body for hours and find endless new adjustments being made, all triggered by our movements. These can only take place, however, if there is enough water in the form of blood to flush through the 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Peace, everyone. Hi, it's Heart Love. We are at the top of page 113, chapter 6. So we just started this part 2 of this book. There's 3 parts to this book. So we just are starting and entering chapter part 2, chapter 6. Movement in our body is better described as perpetual motion. Once it has started, the system responds by moving more and more. If it's activated every day, this will trigger a dance of joy in the body. Outer activity will also bring about easier inner movement. If there's no movement, the heart will simply maintain its most basic rate. Sadly, a condition that most people live with today without even knowing. The system that's most affected in this case is the body's oxygen supply. If you don't lead an active life, your body is just getting an emergency supply of, and your cells are gasping for breath. Many important illnesses, such as circulation problems, headaches, impotence, and insomnia, arise through a poor supply of oxygen. And for a proper amount, you need water. A human being is a water being. Middle of page 113. Movement, satisfaction, and a good food are the main prerequisites for health, which goes hand in hand with beauty. Natural, healthy beauty starts inside the body. If everything is in good order on the inside, it will be on the outside too. Your skin will be healthy because there will be no need for waste products to be brought to the surface for elimination. Therefore, the condition of the skin, the outer loveliness, mirrors the inner beauty. If your body contains enough water, for example, your skin will be smooth and elastic, and your eyes bright. Your body will be functioning at its optimal level. The water content in babies is often as much as 75%, but this will continually decrease with age. Unfortunately, it's not unusual to find levels of under 50% in adults. Even young people show low levels of water. This is what really put me on to making sure I was drinking a lot of water in my daily days. This book right here, just understanding this and how the body works, right? Stay in motion. So that's why I mark love on my water. Highest heart love, guys. We're doing it at the top of page 114. Water as transport. Water is the main means of transport not only for all the materials that are required by the cells, but also for all the cells' waste substances. If the transport network isn't functioning properly because of a lack of water, waste isn't taken away, but left behind. In medical terminology, this is a deposit. Physicians talk, for example, about the uric acid crystals that trigger a gout attack, and a person is described as calcified when part of their brain has become a salt deposit. Deposits may also collect in the blood vessels over a period of time until one day they trigger a heart attack, stroke, or lung embolism. How and what should you drink? Many people think that they have done their duty by drinking 4 pints of water per day, but only a few individuals manage to accomplish this. And those who do drink the recommended amount of water often do so in a way that's very ineffective, because pouring several pints of water into the body, say twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening, isn't a very sensible thing to do. Such a large amount can't be used properly and will just pass through the body. It's far more sensible to drink water throughout the day. This is what we're talking about, right? And we're reading the other book, How to Keep Your Heart Healthy and Fit, drinking the water throughout the day. This then has enough time to trickle. It's far more sensible to drink water throughout the day. This then has enough time to trickle through the body vessels into the spaces between the cells, and from there into the cells themselves, especially with the movement, right? That's going to help move that lymphatic system. So during our day, having cups of water will help that flow and the processes gather, as well as, you know, catalyze the situation. The water we drink should be as soft as possible. Nobody would expect their washing machine to use hard, calcified water, just as soft water is more effective for washing clothes because it can penetrate more deeply into the fabric. So it's more effective for our body as it can reach even the most remote corners. Therefore, you should drink still, soft water with only traces of calcium and minerals. This is contrary to current opinion, which recommends exactly the opposite. As for healing waters, particularly emphasize the high concentration and number of different minerals they contain. The culmination of this is fitness drinks with a high mix of minerals. However, more and more therapists now agree that too much of a good thing can have a negative effect. They share the opinion that minerals that haven't been taken in through the biological bond can't be used to optimal effect, which means they're actually not available to the cells. On the contrary, it's often impossible for the body to dispose of these surpluses, and so they accumulate in the space between the cells. And that's where we know, especially with the neurons, those are those glial cells, right? In the longer term, this may result in a system overload and the metabolic processes becoming dangerously restricted. Pure water for a long life. We're at the middle of page 115. Gratitude, everyone, for reading with us. Hi, Heartland. This is so good. There's an old Chinese phrase that's often found in ancient texts, water of long life. This kind of water it was collected with immense effort from the high mountain region and was only available to the upper classes. It was either rainwater or dew water from melted snow. It was pure, having been cleansed naturally through evaporation or rainfall. Unfortunately, this process can no longer take place. Today, there are many particles in the atmosphere that pollute rainwater. According to traditional Chinese wisdom, the health benefits of pure water were far reaching. Although this belief is easy to understand from a biophysical point of view, it meets with resistance from conventional medicine. Two arguments are often put forward against the consumption of pure water. The first is osmotic pressure. This is demonstrated by putting animal cells into pure water in a reagent glass. A radiant glass. The cells blow up till they finally burst, because fluids with different part concentrations have the tendency to reach the same concentration. So more and more water goes into the cells until the cell wall isn't able to cope with the growing pressure and bursts. The opponents of the pure water theory assume that the same would actually happen in the human body. This is, of course, a mistake, as the conditions aren't the same. Water begins its journey in the mouth, and right from the start, it's no longer pure. Furthermore, the deeper it goes into the body, the more polluted it becomes. This cleansing effect is what gives the result the Chinese describe a longer life. The second argument against the consumption of pure water is that it washes precious minerals out of the body, causing a deficiency. Early on, however, we saw how water with a strong mineral or calcium content created deposits in between the cells, hindering the metabolism. Flushing these deposits out of the body is exactly why we need to drink pure water. Furthermore, the body measures precisely the levels of the minerals it discharges. It doesn't give up those that it needs. If necessary, it will go as far as to take back through the skin minerals that have been dispersed throughout perspiration. This was discovered by Japanese scientists who were examining athletes. This means that the argument against drinking pure water is actually the very reason why it's beneficial for health. If only it wasn't serious, this might even be funny. In the US and in many Asian countries, pure or distilled water is on sale in supermarkets. And in Thailand, it's even marketed with the slogan, "This water is good for your health." At the same time, in Germany and other European countries, medical students learn that it can be dangerous, perhaps even life threatening. In my own family, we've drank poor, pure water for more than 10 years for the good of our health. My husband consumes nearly 6 pints a day. He's in good health and very fit. By the way, did you know that coffee and tea made out of distilled water taste much better, and that it also makes good beer and baby food? Where can I get pure water? If you live in a country where you can't buy pure water, then you can make it yourself. To do this, you can either filter or distill water through evaporation. In fact, evaporation is the way nature itself cleanses water. The only difference is that in nature, it's cold distillation, and at home, it's hot distillation. In the hot distillation process, water is heated to the point of evaporation, then spirals its way back down into liquid form. The impurities are left behind in the container in which the water has been heated. This is actually a good test for your tap water. Fill a big cooking pan from your faucet and let it evaporate. Afterward, have a look at the residue at the bottom of your pan. If you live in a congested area or somewhere with very hard water, this experience should be enough to make you start drinking pure water immediately. In the steam distillation process, the order of hydrogen and oxygen molecules in the water is changed, and as a result, it can lose its beneficial information. To counteract this, it's a good idea to put the distilled water out in the sun, shake it, stir it, or even play it pleasant music. In this way, you load it with positive intent. This is the key right here, right? Loading it up with positive intent. Loading our water up with positive intent helps that crystallization form, right? This is what we do with ourselves as well. So peaceful. Thank you. So peaceful, right? In the steam distillation process, oh, positive intent. The alternative is filtering. There are many ways to do this, but all of them have the same problem as vacuum cleaners. On one hand, the filter must be fine enough so that the dirt can get through, but on the other hand, it must be coarse enough so that it doesn't get blocked by the dirt it picks up. A lot of the filter systems on the market claim to have struck such a balance, but who knows what, if any, minerals are getting through. And water without any minerals at all would be what they call dead water. That's why the filters on our taps don't remove all the minerals. What are the criteria for living water anyway? Is water from fruit alive? Is fresh spring water alive? Because it forms beautiful crystals. We can certainly say that it isn't the existence of minerals that determines the vitality of water, but the information that's contained in the water. And this can't be viewed on the material level alone. We should consider the etheric energy of water here, not just the way impurities and minerals are filtered out of it. Those who want to purify water thoroughly, however, can do this through the reverse osmosis procedure. Here, water runs through a very fine filter membrane. The pores of this are so small that the purity of the water is as good as when it's distilled. Reverse osmosis filters can be connected to the main pipes from under the kitchen sink. Then, to revitalize your distilled water, you can use one of the methods described earlier. And we'll pause right here, page 118 in the center. We'll pick back up with this wonderful, wonderful chapter, Water as a Source of Health. Chapter 6, The Healing Power of Water by Dr. Masaru Emoto. I'm your moderator and narrator, shaking it up on YouTube. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the support that you're giving to LA. Much love for your prayers, and love is continued and needed and greatly, greatly accepted. I want to honor all of you, all the light beings healing, doing the healing work, loving one another. Highest heart love. Peace, peace, guys. I'll see you soon, okay? Thank you so much. Yes, my Cash App is shut down. They don't like me reading books. So PayPal is the only way that I can receive now. So thank you. Highest heart love. You guys rock. Thank you. Peace, everyone.